Greetings to everyone. I am Charles Romero Velasco, a research assistant from the Aurora State College of Technology. The title of my presentation is the assessment of Aurora State College of Technology's readiness for e-learning, perspective from the students. My co-author is Maria Cristina Bicañada, the Director for Research and Development Services. The dilemma on the delivery of quality education during the time of pandemic is a pressing issue of today. With the restriction of face-to-face classes, state universities and colleges shifted to distance form of learning and teaching. The Aurora State College of Technology is planning to adopt an online mode of instruction. However, since there are no prior studies that look at the readiness of the college students in adapting such system, the adaptation will be difficult. And with that, we want to determine the readiness of Aurora State College of Technology in adapting e-learning system. Specifically, this study aimed to address the following questions. Question number 1, how ready is ASCOT in the adoption of e-learning system in terms of A, availability of technology facility to the students, utilization of technology by the students, confidence of students in using the technology, and the acceptance of students with e-learning as a method of instruction. And number 2, is there a significant difference between students' socio-demographic profile, such as age, sex, year level, course, and residency on their readiness for e-learning? To answer our research questions, we employed a quantitative research design. We are able to interview 343 students, which was identified using the stratified random sampling, wherein we use the academic department as our strata. ASCOT Students E-Learning Readiness Questionnaire was used as our main instrument. It was adapted from Unal et al. In 2014. It came in two forms. One is on Google Form, and second is the printed questionnaire for those who can't answer online. This instrument is subdivided into 4 categories. Number 1, availability of technology, or the accessibility of software and hardware that are necessary for e-learning classes. Number 2, utilization of technology, which is defined as the ways how students use different technologies. Third, confidence level refers to the self-assessment of students on how well they can perform during e-learning activities. And lastly, their acceptance level to the interest of students in engaging in such mode of learning. These are like type of questions with 5 choices. And for the validation of this questionnaire, we use the Cronbach's alpha, wherein we get the alpha level on 0.897, which is a good result. For the interpretation of our data for our means, we use the work of Tassi in 2005, wherein she considered that if the mean score is 3.4 to 5, ready for e-learning university. Let's look at the results and discussion. Number 1 is on the resources availability. As we can see, the overall mean for the availability of resources is 2.47. It is way below to the expected level, which is 3.41. The lowest mean is recorded on statement number 5. I have access to computer whenever I need. Also, the connection is very low, which is very problematic for the adoption of e-learning, because we know that hardware, software, and the internet is a very important component in e-learning. The technology utilization. On this category, we can see that the overall mean is 3.18, which is also below the expected level of readiness. But I put green markings on statement 1, 4, and 7 because they reach 3.41. It is on the use of internet as information source, the use of network sites, and the use of mobile technologies to connect to the internet. However, there is a low mean score in the use of email as the main communication tool with my teachers and classmates. Same with statement number 3 on the use of Microsoft Office and use of Messenger, Google Talk, and Skype is also low, and use of learning management application is low, and also the use of video communication tool has low mean scores. It is also problematic because according to Tin Tiron Janawong in 2013, participants in e-learning must have sufficient level of skills on how to use modern ICT and computers. Let's look at the self-confidence of our students on e-learning. The overall mean is 2.86, which is also below the expected level of readiness. The lowest mean is recorded on statement number 7. I believe that e-learning is easy to use. On the other hand, the highest is they have information about what e-learning is. The problem with this is that students have no confidence on using e-learning. According to Unal et al., the perceived ease of use affects the intention of the students to comply and use e-learning management systems. With their low confidence, it means that some might not be interested in the use of e-learning systems. That's the problem with this. Let's look at the acceptance on e-learning. We have an overall mean of 2.74. The lowest mean here is recorded in statement number 4. The belief that e-learning is more effective than the traditional classroom-based approach. The highest mean is recorded on statement number 6. I believe that e-learning have benefits for education. Although it is the highest mean score here in this category, it is still low because it did not meet the 3.41 mark for readiness. According to Pornchai and Adams in 2016, individual's behavior is influenced by the way in which one believes it will affect him and his actions. So here, if the students are not accepting the use on e-learning, there is a possibility that their behavior in the future, if it is going to be implemented, they are not they will not cooperate, or they will not perform well in the online classes. So this is the summary of our ASCOT students e-learning readiness. The orange line is the expected level of readiness, wherein the blue line is the ASCOT students readiness for e-learning. As we all can see, there is no component that met the readiness line. The last column is the overall readiness of ASCOT, which is 2.82. It is way below 3.41. It can be interpreted as not ready and needs improvement for e-learning. Let's look at the e-learning readiness across groups. With the use of ANOVA and independent sample t-test, we found out that there's no significant difference between the readiness of students when they are grouped according to sex, to age, to their academic department, years in college, and their places of residence. As a conclusion, with the study, we found out that ASCOT students are not ready for e-learning. On all the components of e-learning readiness, there is none where ASCOT students reach the expected level of readiness. And there's no significant difference to the readiness level of students when they are categorized according to sex, age, academic department, years in college, and place of residence. Our recommendations: ASCOT, with the help of local government unit of Aurora, must take the initial steps on improving this availability of learning resources by seeking funds for the procurement of laptops and mobile phones for the students. The speed of the internet must be taken into consideration by forging strong linkages to telecommunication service provider. The college must also provide trainings in order to increase the technical skills of the students. This is to equip the students with necessary skills for e-learning. With the improvement of this, a higher confidence and acceptance level for e-learning may follow. And lastly, a modular approach for teaching and learning for distance learning modalities is recommended. That's all. Thank you.